Hi, this is Jim Cranston from 7 Every Minute and 7everyminute.com, the podcast and website by, for, and about baby boomers. Thanks for joining me tonight for a little reflection on some recent events and basically how we can do to spread a different viewpoint throughout the world. So let's get started on that. But first, of course, the regular disclaimer. Reminder, I'm not a medical professional and I'll be talking about things that I personally find useful. If you find yourself feeling truly hopeless or truly depressed, please seek professional medical attention as soon as you can or just dial 911. And again, it's almost due to finally be rolled out nationwide, but officially starting July 16th, 2022 and available in some areas now. Dialing 988 should connect you with the immediate assistance. So the general number for help is 800-273-8255. Or the 3-digit code is 988. Good to know for yourself or maybe a friend. So this week we'll continue our trend of shorter lives, just a thought or two. But this past weekend, expect most everyone has heard, right? There was this senseless shooting in Buffalo, New York, and that's at the other end of the state for me, but it's just a few hours away. And so I know this isn't going to be wailing about guns or racism or what was going on through that person's mind. Those are all different things. And I saw actually a really good article saying, really, why is everyone so interested in this person? What matters is the actions and how somebody could be thinking along those lines. And so I kind of agree with that. So that's one thing, but rather I really want to take a step further back and for each of us to look at our own actions and particularly how we react with those who are different than us. And this isn't a kind of like, what are we doing that's bad? It's the world has become just extremely aggressive. And so, now we all know that the news has become this kind of like this eternal font of bad stuff, just telling us how all different we are from each other, how scary everyone else is, and in particular, what a threat everybody is to us. Anyone that has a different idea isn't just a different idea, they're a threat to us. And so I have show and tell tonight. A regional newspaper had this really prescient headline because it was a Sunday morning newspaper. And so they're printed on Saturday nights. The shooting wasn't in the papers yet. So this is, before the news of this shooting even happened. And it said in all capitals, and this is really worth looking at. There we go. A new battlefield for cultural wars, right? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Think about that statement. Now, this is basically a pretty hate-filled statement, right? It's pretty aggressive. This lead headline in this very liberal newspaper, what was this all about? What could be, again, a new battlefield in cultural wars, right? Just bad. What is this all about? My gracious, what is this all about? School board elections. That's what got this level of headline and verbiage and aggression and divisiveness. School board elections. Think about that statement. And the under the fold headline, we won't even go into that. Let's just skip that one. That one was just completely prejudicial, and that's another story for another day. But we'll just talk about that headline, right? I hear this sort of aggression and prejudice every day, not only in the media, but in everyday conversation. You hear it in the person sitting next to you in the line at the store, or you hear it just with people at work, and they just say these things. Like, how can you just say that like it's regular things? And you look at TV shows, my gracious, right? TV shows, it's not a good TV show unless everybody hates each other, right? And always the women are talking down to the men and the men are always stupid, or the men are talking down to the women, and it's endless. So what can we do about it? The big thing we can do about it is don't accept it. Don't participate in it. That kind of behavior, it is not the new normal. It's a contrived normal. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing positive about it. There's nothing healing the country. There's nothing bringing us together. There's nothing moving us forward. So just don't participate in it. When you hear somebody, especially if it's somebody close, when they say something like that, perhaps you can ask them what they really mean by that statement. Then listen, and really listen to the response. And the really listen part, actually, it's the course I've started to work on. I have a whole course on listening. The listening part is really important because when you really listen to somebody, you focus on them. And and their brain realizes that suddenly now they have an audience, and things act differently in their brains. We'll go over that in a second. But if it's somebody you don't particularly know, again, if you feel safe doing it, just ask them what they mean by that statement. And again, really listen to the response, because you're not trying to start a fight. You're not going to teach them something. But when they have to slowly explain something to somebody else who they know is really listening and tell them exactly what they mean, a different part of their brain becomes engaged and involved. And that part of the brain will listen just like you're listening. And it'll listen to what they themselves are saying. And it'll start to analyze it. And it'll recognize it for the foolishness that it really is. It won't always change someone's mind, but hopefully it will make them think for even just a moment. And that might be enough to help prevent the next hateful outburst, or far worse. The only thing we can really control is ourselves, but we can control our response to the world around us. Maybe my newspaper is comfortable calling itself, calling a very healthy democratic process of a school board vote the new battleground for cultural wars. But we don't have to stoop to that low level. Let me just put this on the floor where it belongs. Maybe the cat will use it, because that's all it's good for. Those sorts of thoughts bring nothing to the world. It's easy to stand and point a finger at somebody else. It's really hard to invite them over and really listen to them. And that's what this world needs, and that's what you and I can do to make a change. We can be the positive element of change, not just talk about tolerance and empathy, but to be the actual example of how to work together rather than try to always push people apart from each other. And if you're now in my demographic, right, you have the experience and wisdom to know what Ben Franklin said is really true, right? We can all hang together or all hang separately, right? We really all have more in common than differences. We should never forget that. And we should remind other people about that. So it's just one little message for the evening. Even by our simplest of actions, we can make a huge change. And that even means if you have to listen to somebody who you really find their thoughts just repulsive, it's even almost more important then, because those are the people who you really want to hopefully get them to think about what they're saying and realize that what they're saying is just based on reaction and isn't a reasonable statement. So, like I said, that's it. Very brief. Off I go. Thanks for stopping by. Stay healthy. Care for yourself. Remember to care for others, because that's how you end up at your very best. And then, of course, all the regular reminders. We have, of course, where did it go? Live TV. Can't read my own writing. There we go. UKR7. Right. That's our regular. It's the link to all the places where you can donate and support to the Ukraine. Super important. If anybody's looking for ways they can help in Ukraine, just point them to that, and it forwards on to a page that has just links to all sorts of other places, ukr7.com. And I just added another one. There was a movie came out. It's a free movie. You can use the shortcut 7em.link, Mariupol, MARIUPOL, MARI, and you don't even need the HTTPS. Let me just change that real quick and make it even shorter to remember. There, 7em.link, MARIUPOL. It's a movie that was actually made very recently, obviously, in Mariupol, showing the conditions that people there are living in and the behavior of the Russians and the things that they're doing in the war against Ukraine. It is, let me put it this way. No matter how good your imagination is, right, this movie is very realistic. And I have a feeling it's probably not nearly as realistic as the reality of what's going on there. They're talking to people whose spouses perished the day before. They're in their apartment and got shelled, a direct hit from the Russians firing from the sea 20, 30 miles away. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on. I have a friend who said, "Oh, this is all rigged. This is all staged. This is, it's pretty amazing to hear him say that." And if anybody says anything like that, or kind of like, "Oh, the Ukrainians are winning. I don't really care about it anymore." send them to that link, go to the movie. It's on YouTube. You can search it on YouTube directly. All that link does is take you to YouTube. Take a look at it, check it out, and that's what war is really like, and that's what we don't want, and that's why we have to change the attitude in the United States. That this whole divisiveness and being at each other's throats is not the way to achieve peace. So, as always, be true to yourself, live the life that you're aligned with, and if you're true to your goals, that's the best way to live a life that you're really satisfied with. Thank you for stopping by. If you found something interesting, please pass it along. If you did not, please drop me a note as to what you'd like to hear about. Have a great week. Thanks for visiting. And remember to live the life that you dreamed of, because that's the path to true contentment. Love and encouragement to everyone, and see you next week on 7 Every Minute and 7everyminute.com. Thank you.